Being virtuous is one of the biggest differences we flaunt as humans. And we do so because we think that when the time comes, we can do the right thing. But what will you do if you were to take a life? If there were more lives at stake, will you do it? Will you kill one to save many? If we were to make a decision that can affect a large number of people, things are not that easy. If you were to make a quick decision, what will be your obvious choice? Will you go for a popular option or the right one? In 2015 British thriller, a military team locates one of the most wanted terrorists.
We have intelligence of a meeting between Danford and numbers 4 and 5 on our most wanted list. We have information that they will be in this house.
But then
today.
a new situation develops.
Well, this changes things.
What's happening? We're seeing a suicide vest and a whole bunch of explosives.
So they command a drone to drop a bomb on the terrorist.
We have the ability to strike a target with considerable accuracy.
We need to put a hellfire through that roof right now.
But the drone pilot spots a little girl within the blast radius, and he is not willing to pull the
To
trigger.
strike.
I'm the pilot in command responsible for releasing the weapon. I will fire when this girl's out of the way.
There is a lot more at stake than you see in this image.
Obviously, the stakes go higher, and so does their predicament. If they drop a bomb, many civilians will be killed. But that might save hundreds of other civilians.
If they kill 80 people, we win the propaganda war. If we kill one child, they do.
Ready.
Right now.
3.
Wait.
1.
Should they go through or they should abort? Now, people have been thinking about this dilemma for a very long time. It has been part of a philosophical thought experiment, which is also known as the Trolley Problem. This problem reveals many aspects of our thinking: moral, ethical, spiritual, and emotional. It also helps in understanding the definition of right and wrong. For many years, people have called this problem a hypothetical scenario. But that's not true anymore. The trolley problem is getting real. And we'll see more of that happening in years to come. So what is this trolley problem? During 1967, a philosopher named Philippa Foot introduced a set of decision problems. And she did that to analyze debates on abortion and the doctrine of double effect. This problem begins with a scenario. You are walking near a train line and you see that a train is traveling down the track at dangerously high speed. The train is completely unattended. You also see that there were 5 workers on the main track far away from you. You happen to be near a lever that can switch the train's route, which can save 5 lives. But on the other track, you see one person working. If you pull the lever, 5 lives will be saved, but one person will die. What will you do? Will you pull that lever? Critics have often said that the trolley problem is very unrealistic, and maybe it was. But now, with so many modern technologies, self-driving cars, AI-based decision systems, I think it has become more relevant now. On 20th June 2003, a runaway unmanned train with 31 freight cars was barreling towards Los Angeles. If the train would have entered yards in LA, it would have caused massive damage. It could have also put the Metrolink passenger train in danger, which was also in the same yard. To avoid this from happening, dispatchers ordered switching of the runway cars to another track. This track was passing through a lower density housing of mostly lower income residents. The track switch was rated for 24 kilometers per hour, but the train was moving at 138 kilometers per hour, and dispatchers knew about it. They were aware that the derailment was highly likely. Carrying over 3,500 tons of lumber and building materials, the train eventually derailed into the residential area of Commerce, California. It crashed through many houses and 13 people were injured. One of them was a pregnant woman who barely managed to escape through a window.
Gas and water pipelines were broken, and about 150 people had to be evacuated from the area.
You see, the trolley problem is not theoretical anymore. Think about self-driving cars. Do you think it should protect the life of its passengers at the expense of pedestrians? You will see that our answers can be inconsistent. We want other people's cars to maximize the number of lives saved. But what if it is our car? We would want it to protect us, won't we?
We usually see these types of problems from two different lenses: the utilitarian lens and the deontological lens. The utilitarian perspective says that the right action is the one that achieves the greatest good for greatest number of people. But the deontological perspective says that certain actions are simply wrong, even if they have good consequences, like hurting an innocent person is plain wrong.
And the thing is, no matter what people answer in theory, if it happens in real life, most of us will just freeze. Most of us will not be able to make any decision at all. And not just that, I think depending on the situation, most people will also change their decision. Because depending upon how you think, your answers could be different. But the trick here is to use divergent thinking. It is also about exploring various options instead of simply defaulting to a popular or most obvious choice. But I get it. We cannot do this in the moment. I know that in the situation like this, we always use heuristics. Our brain looks for frequently used or recently used answers. It goes for what we are trained for, and that is exactly the reason why I think practicing divergent thinking is very important. Clarifying our principles is important, and we must understand how we think and why we do it that way.
We face these types of dilemmas every day of our life: office, community, politics, everywhere. And it doesn't matter how foolish or ignorant the majority are. It doesn't matter how far-sighted or knowledgeable the minority are. When we live in a democratic society, the minority often gets sacrificed for the interest of the majority. And that is the new big challenge in this new world. The trolley problem was just a theoretical problem until a few years ago. But now it's getting real. And you will see more such situations in years to come.
The best course of action is not to wait until something happens, but to clarify our thinking, our principles, learn to think independently, and look at the bigger picture. So when there is actual time to decide, you can change the lever in the right direction. Or maybe not.